My name is Rob Dauster. That gentleman you see in the lucky Alabama hat is the one and only Jeffrey Goodman. Jeff, that hat did not bring you a W last night for your Crimson Tide.
No, but the hat isn't all about. Actually, I did do Alabama live, and I got them at 1.5. So I pushed on Alabama.
There you go.
I pushed on Alabama yesterday, but ultimately the hat did do me well because I had a good night. The first time in a while, probably. I feel like it's the first time in like a week that I had a solid night, and really most of it was due to the fact that your West Virginia, Deshaun Butler's West Virginia Mountaineers cleaned up for me on both the money line and getting. I just couldn't believe they were getting 5 in that game.
Yeah,
and the best moment of the day. Hey, the best moment of the day was clearly the Chris Beard technical and ensuing. I don't even know what was that. I mean, he didn't slip. He went down on his own.
Okay, so what he was yelling about, he was mad about like 3 different calls.
Yeah.
And there was like a buildup of like they've kind of gotten railroaded on some calls in recent weeks, and he was mad that when Miles McBride fell, he was able to call a timeout instead of having a travel called. So that's why he fell and pretended to call a timeout and then said that's a travel. You could read his lips. He said that's a travel. So
Beard's a riot.
It's great. Like I think he was trying to get run at that point. Like I think
you're probably right.
He's like, fuck this.
Beard's very smart. He's very smart. He's very methodical in everything he does. So I'm sure you're right. At that point, he knew.
2 parts of that were unbelievable. Like the fall wasn't even the best part. The best part was he gets up and he's just cursing out these refs and he's screaming at them. The mask is off. And then he walks over and he gives Huggy the Bear the pound. And Huggy's just standing there like, yeah, man, I've been there before.
I was just like, yeah. When I was your age, I did that too. Now I ain't falling. I ain't going down. I made my go back up.
And then Beard goes back to yell at the refs one more time. And then he has like 4 assistants standing between him and the official. And then he turns around to leave and he runs off the court. What is he doing?
Did he run off the court? I didn't even see that.
He ran off the court, up the tunnel. He just ran. Yes. Well, I mean, it might have been a sprint for him at this day and age, but it wasn't really like if that's as fast as he's running.
Yeah. I gotta call Beard today and find out, get his take on this thing.
Oh man, that was an all-time ejection. And the theatrics. I saw, and here's it, like, so I saw some people that were critical of him. They were like, why are we celebrating non-sportsmanship? And why are we celebrating a guy like getting angry and flip, blah, blah, blah? It's like, whatever, man.
Right.
Can we just enjoy people like that are losing their minds? At least, hey, look, at least he's passionate, right?
Oh, he is passionate. No question. He's passionate. Again, this was a win that I felt like I do. And we've talked about Texas Tech. Like they're pretty talented. It's not that they're not talented, but I think he brings them to that next level. I think West Virginia is more talented, to be honest, than Texas Tech. West Virginia, like this is a really good, underrated West Virginia team that has started to find itself without your guy, the Big Sheep.
Big Sheep.
Like it's honestly addition by subtraction, Rob. It is because of the way they're playing. Not because he's not a good player, but because playing with 2 bigs did not work for West Virginia.
So I don't know if I would call it addition by subtraction, because if you were able to have Culver and Big Sheep like rotating at the 5,
but you're not. You're not. They're going to be miserable. They're going to be shitty in the locker room.
Yes, and that was what the problem was. It wasn't that it makes them better without having that backup for Culver. It's that Big Sheep was expecting to be able to play a certain kind of way and get a certain number of minutes, and then those minutes didn't happen because Derek Culver beat him out, and they wanted to play different style. And it's like kind of like, well, this isn't the best thing for me anymore.
You know who got really upset?
Who?
Big Sheep's people.
Yeah.
Big Sheep's peeps. Those were the ones who got even more upset than Big Sheep.
Well, it's because they felt like they had been lied to, but it wasn't that they lied. It's that Huggins found out like the way for us to win and be the best team that we can be is to play a different style. And that's what Hugs does. Like he changed it. I don't know how many coaches are able to just completely flip things over on the fly the way that he does. Right.
The best
ever. A couple years ago when they lost Aaron Harris and they lost that kid to to NC State, and I think they lost like 3 transfers in the summer that were like 3 of their top 4 scorers. And we were like, well, West Virginia's they're done. And then he turns around and he turns them into Press Virginia, and like they're the best that West Virginia's been since the Kevin Pittsnoggle era.
But the best he ever did was when he took over the Beeline team and kept what Beeline had done with his own. Like think about that. Bob Huggins took over, and instead of implementing everything that he knew, right? What did he do? He kept what John Beeline had already established. Like, amazing to me, because there couldn't be 2 more opposite coaches in the country in every single way than Bob Huggins and John Beeline. And that's where you do. You got to give Huggins a ton of credit. I'd actually like to hear, and I'm sure you and Deshaun have talked about this plenty. I'd like to hear you guys talk to Hugs about that, about adapting over the years and how he's done it better than just about anybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's incredible how he's been able to
tell Deshaun you got to get Hugs on the pod soon.
Well, I don't want to break any news on here. I don't want to tease anything too much, but things are in the works.
Things are happening.
Things are happening. Moves are being made. So anything else big from last night? The one thing,
the Duke Blue Devils. What do you mean? You're gonna go through it without talking about Notre Dame?
I don't talk about NIT teams.
It really is. I mean, honestly,
let's talk about NIT teams. Why are we talking about teams that are below 500?
Hey, did you see my tweet? 10th place in the ACC, Duke. 10th place in the SEC, Kentucky. 10th place in the Big Ten, Michigan State. We're almost in mid-February. Like, it is amazing. If you could have, honestly, the odds on that before the season might have been like 1,000,000 to 1. I mean, there's no way anybody thought that was possible. They were all top 15 teams in the country.
Yeah, I was so into the storyline, like the Kentucky. Oh, is it going to be a redemption year? Are they going to turn this thing around? And is Duke going to be able to figure this thing out? No, they're just not very good. Like I completely lost interest in them.
Yeah, no, I agree. I find myself now the only way I'm going to watch a Duke, a Kentucky, a Michigan State game now really is if they're playing a good team. Like, I'm not. You're right. I didn't watch that Duke Notre Dame game. I had other shit to do at 4:30.
Well, I couldn't watch it because it was hidden on the network that nobody is able to watch. So whatever. Also, so hold on. I just realized, so for people that don't know, Brian Snow loves to get on group text and talk a ton of shit. And he texted us last night on our group text about how look at Vandy keeping it close against Final Four juggernaut Auburn. And I was like, oh, I hadn't seen the final score yet. Auburn covered.
They did.
Auburn covered. Like, what is he talking about? They covered. What is he talking about? Get out of here, Snow. Come on.
Yeah, why did we include Snow in that group chat?
I don't know. Well, you know what? He started it. That's
very true.
He started it. Last thing I just have to say is, do you think the Johnny's fans are going to get out of our mentions now?
They would have. Listen, if they had won that game, it would have been like a Final Four victory against Butler at Butler. Like, do they understand they didn't just lose to Brad Stevens' Butler Bulldogs with Gordon Hayward, Shelvin Mack, and Matt Howard? They just lost to a shitty Butler team. They're not good this year. Now, Aaron Thompson was terrific last night, as he usually is on the defensive end, but he made some shots too. That was my point all along with St. John's. Is I want to see it over a long – I want you to get to the tournament. If you get to the tournament, then I'm wrong. I'm wrong about St. John's. But everything you do, if you're still in the NIT at the end of this year, hey, by the way, Chris Mullen got you to the NCAA tournament. It wasn't, it was the first 4. But he got you to the tournament. So if you're Mike Anderson, you got to get them to the tournament, don't you?
Yeah, and I think they're close now, but this is going to be an ugly loss. This is going to be one that kind of brings that resume down a little bit. And it's one, St. John should have won that, man.
They had it.
It's still tilting me because I had the St. John's money line last night, and I feel like it was a good. I feel like I analyzed that game and I had it right and I read it right, and for those that didn't watch it, St. John's blew a double-digit second half lead, but They found a way. They were up by 2 with 10 seconds left with the ball under their own basket. And the inbounds pass hit the dude in the ankle for a turnover. He hit him in the ankle.
How do you even make that pass? Like how? Like really? What is going on?
I don't know, but it cost me a little bit of money. So
a little bit of money. Was there anything else worthwhile, or can we turn the page?
Alabama won, didn't cover. Yeah. Texas won, didn't cover. Creighton won and covered. Like there's not
a lot.
There wasn't a lot of great games.
No, let's move forward then. Let's move forward for tonight.
So Wednesday slate. Yesterday, I felt like I had a great feel.
Me too.
For the slate. Yeah, today's slate, I don't feel anywhere near as good about. There are some interesting games. I think the most interesting is probably Iowa at Rutgers. Is that right? What do you think?
Yeah. I mean,
it's Rutgers at Iowa.
The storyline is interesting because Rutgers has played great basketball lately. Remember, they went through that stretch where they lost 5 in a row, and we're all like ready to give up on Steve Peichel. And Iowa now is going through it. And everybody in the Big Ten, other than like Ohio State and Michigan, because they've been out for so long.
Yeah, Michigan will have their fall soon, though.
I think so. I do. I agree with that. So, to me, this is a tough one to figure. We don't know what Iowa team is going to come out. I told you this last time. I think they miss C.J. Frederick more than you think they do.
No, I never said they don't miss. It's his shooting changes like a lot of things for them.
His whole game. I just think he's a player that does a little bit of everything, and he just I just think they're a team that needs the sum of their parts. He's a smart player. And part of the thing is you've got to surround obviously Luka with shooters. In their last game, you could see it. I mean. Like he's a good passer out of the double, but it still takes him time. I still think I would like to see Luka make decisions quicker sometimes out of the double when he gets rid of it. Mm-hmm. Sometimes again he puts himself in tough spot where they'll double and they'll either take the ball from him or it'll take him too long to make that pass to the open man. But
he does have a little bit of tunnel vision where. He gets the ball and it's like, all right, I got the ball. I'm going to go score.
Right.
And you want some more of that mentality, but you also need you need to be able to kind of see everything. So there's a little bit of he kind of is a bull in the china shop at some point. Get him all the ball. Yeah. My favorite Luka Garza play was who were they playing? It might have been Michigan State. Where he was going for an offensive rebound and he lifted his hands and elbowed an opponent in the face, missed the rebound and came down and turned around and slapped his teammate in the face and knocked out 2 different guys on one play and didn't even realize that he had taken 2 people out because he just started
That's bro. Same thing with
oh man, it's so funny. I love watching him play. I don't love all the discourse around him and the pro and all that kind of stuff. That's crazy.
Yeah, me too, because it's like you're just being negative. We all know he's not going to be a great pro. We don't need to say it. It is what it is. I think he'll be again, we're not going to get into it. But
I mean, this is what's going to happen with Luka. He's going to be a second-round pick. He's going to hang around the NBA for a couple years because he plays hard. He's going to be a good locker room guy. Yep. He's going to realize that he can make a whole shitload of money using his Bosnian passport while playing overseas somewhere. He's going to go to Europe. He's going to be a guy that plays 20 years in Europe, maybe not 20 years, but he's going to play a long, long time in Europe. He's going to make a ton of money, more money than he can spend playing over there and have a great life. Do you know how nice it is to be able to go to Italy or Croatia or Spain and go make $1 million and be a basketball player where, by the way, part of the, when you say you make $1 million a year playing in the NBA, that doesn't they take taxes out of that, right? They don't take you got to pay for your own housing, you got to pay for your cars. A lot of these guys, the best players in Europe, when you say you make €1 million a year, that is after taxes. Right. And then they also they'll pay for your housing, they'll pay for your car. So it's the 1 million euros in Europe versus $1 million in
clear.
The United States.
$1 million clear is what it is.
Oh. So
all right. Anyway, let's get going here with this.
Look, I just want to say, all that said, I love Rutgers in this spot. Rutgers has really good, athletic, tough, aggressive guards that can put the ball on the floor and get to the rim. Jacob Young, Geo Baker's playing really well.
I'm with you. I like the points. I 6.5 right now.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's not a lot that I feel great about here, but
I'm with you.
You combine the fact that this is a good matchup for Rutgers with the fact that Iowa, I mean,
they're struggling.
I don't want to say the Fran fade has started, but the Fran fade has kind of started. They haven't covered a game since January 17th. They've lost, what is it, 4 of their last 5 now, something like that. They're not playing.
Rutgers they've won 4 straight. So Rutgers is feeling good about themselves again. And they know, like, they win this game, they've kind of entrenched themselves in the NCAA tournament where, like, they still have some work, a little bit of work.
You know what the problem is? At some point, like, if everyone can beat Iowa, Iowa's like no longer a good one. Yeah, that's what we're running into.
You're right.
All right, let's keep it moving. There are 4 other games that I've written down that I'm interested in. I don't have anything, like, nothing stands out to me at the mid-major level today. Like, I loved South Carolina last night. I was with you on James Madison. Nothing tonight.
There aren't many mid-major games. I mean, that's part of it. Midweek, you don't get a ton of mid-major games because most of these teams are playing on the weekends back to back.
Friday and Saturday. So my next favorite bet of the day.
Yeah.
Are you ready for this? Take a guess. Looking at the schedule, who do you think it's going to be?
Wisconsin?
No. GFV, baby. GFV. Go fucking Vols.
Oh, God. Who are they playing? Georgia?
They're playing Georgia at home.
12.5.
Laying 12.5. And here's my take on it. For starters, I just think that the matchup makes sense, right? Like, Tennessee is a top 15 team in the country at forcing turnovers. They lead the SEC in forcing turnovers. Georgia, I think they're 11th now in offensive turnover rate. They've turned the ball over on 23% of their possessions for the entire season, which is not very good. So I do think that Tennessee is going to be able to kind of overwhelm them with their length and their athleticism. Keon Johnson and Jaden Springer, like we talked about this the other day, seeing the growth for Keon in the last week, I think has been really, really big. And maybe I'm reading too much into it, but seeing him have the confidence and the aggressiveness to go make a play and draw a foul down by 2 on the last possessions against Ole Miss. Next game, come out, score 27, take over the game in the final 8 minutes. And now moving forward, like, I feel like that's something that's changed a little bit. The other part of it is that Rick Barnes kind of made a change, and he went like full small ball and started playing faster and started trying to get out and transition more. And that is what Tennessee needs to do. They need to play Eve at the 5. They need to go with like Santee and Victor Bailey and Keon Johnson and Josiah Jordan-James and like mix those 5 guys up at the other 4 spots on the floor and just kind of get that big guy out of the lane. I think they're going to start doing that more. So I'm trying to get back in on Tennessee early. Even if like all that other contextual stuff, the fact that they're so good at forcing turnovers, Georgia is so bad at turning the ball over, and Georgia playing at the tempo that they normally want to play, where they get up and down, plays into Tennessee's hands. Like maybe I got those blinders on, Goodman. I might have those blinders on.
Scare me. I'm not touching it. Here. And you know how much I don't like Georgia. You know how much, but I still that's a lot of points. That's a lot of points for a Tennessee team that can't score generally.
Mm-hmm. I know.
I'm just not ready. I need to see more of it. I'm not going there. What I do like is, and the other one that I'm going to stay away from until I get more information. So check BetSports later today is the UConn-Providence game, because we don't know if James. I assume Bouknight's going to give it a go. He's practiced the last few days, but he hasn't played since January 9th. I mean, it's been a month. January 5th with the elbow injury.
He tried to talk Hurley into letting him play. Who they played the last? Was it Creighton?
Yeah.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, it wasn't going to happen. But here's the thing. All right, so the numbers: UConn's 5-0 against the spread on the road. Providence hasn't been great lately. They've lost 3 straight. They need this one. Kind of both teams need this one. I don't have a great feel for it, but it's intriguing to see if Bouknight comes back. The one I like.
What's the line in that game, by the way?
1.5, up to 2.5 for UConn. I probably would take
okay. So that line is courtesy of Bet Rivers Sportsbook. And real quick, let me tell you guys a little bit about our partners over at Bet Rivers. If you haven't signed up with Bet Rivers yet, now is the time. BetRivers Sportsbook is offering a $250 match bonus for your first deposit, but what sets them apart is that they require just one playthrough to turn your bonus into cash money, Goodman. When you win at BetRivers Sportsbook, they pay fast, and now it's even faster with their Rush Pay instant approval for withdrawals. It's safe, it's secure, it's reliable. I know because I use it. And with March Madness right around the corner, there's never been a better time to give BetRivers Sportsbook a try. So go to betrivers.com, download the BetRivers iOS app. You must be 21 years or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Jeffrey, what else you got?
I like Georgia Tech. The line moved up. It's 4.5 now. Virginia favored. Remember the last time they played in Charlottesville? It's a nail biter. Georgia Tech had control of it most of the game, and Virginia ended up winning it. Georgia Tech's been very good at home. Very, very good at home. And you know me, I'm just not sold on Virginia. I'm not saying they're not going to win this game, but I think if they win it, it's going to come down to the final minute. So I might even take the money line on this one. But I definitely like the points here with Georgia.
I looked at this one too. I don't know. I don't feel comfortable with it. Just Virginia is the one team where I've gotten them wrong pretty much every game except for Gonzaga. I never have a great feel for them. And it's one of those teams where it's the same reason why I didn't like betting on Marcus Howard last year or Marquette, because you're basically betting on are their threes going to go down today? Who knows? There's three other lines that I like and then we can get out of here. I am interested in Villanova, laying 10.5.
Okay.
Marquette, it kind of feels like a tailspin for them. Their next 5 games are on the road. They've lost, I think it's 5 of their last 6 games now. They're not very good. I really like the Missouri money line at Ole Miss. If you can give me points with the number 10 team in the country on the road, I will take it. And then Wake Forest -1. I think fading Boston College is a pretty savvy play at this point.
Wisconsin, I'm just fading Nebraska right now. I mean, I know they played okay since they came back. I don't think they're very good. I think Wisconsin can get going against them, and Wisconsin can score. So they're giving 11.5 there.
I do like that. The only problem that I have is that, Wisconsin, if they can play kind of slow, and if they can kind of muck that up, 11 is a lot of points. But that said, Nebraska, look, we talked about this. They were horrific against Michigan State. That was my eyes were literally bleeding watching that game. I'm not going to harp on it too much because I like the guys on both those staffs, but it was not pretty basketball. You got anything else, Jeffrey?
Yeah, Mercer. They didn't cover against Samford at Samford last time. Samford has played 1 game since January 20th. Again,
berries. I like it.
Yeah, I like that one. I'm going to take Mercer, given that's 5 points at Samford. And then I think I'm going to fade Northwestern. Just continue to fade them. And Indiana's given 4. Indiana's not the easiest team to figure, but Northwestern, last time I checked, has lost 9 straight, Robert. 9 straight. So talking about a team that's kind of a dead team at this point. And Indiana is 7-1 on the road against the spread this year. 7-1.
There you go.
Very good. Yeah. So I'm going to go there. Do you like the other game we didn't talk about, which I think is an interesting game, Missouri at Ole Miss?
Oh, I said I like Missouri. I like the money line.
Yeah. I mean, they're getting what, a point and a half right now?
The better team with plus value.
Yeah.
In a spot where there's not really any home court advantage, so I'll take the Missouri money line there. All right, so make sure you guys go check the BetSports app. My name there is Rob Dauster. His name is Goodman Hoops. Go follow it there. We're gonna have all our picks put in, and we will see you guys again tomorrow morning.